Welcome back to my channel. My name is Analisa and this is Adventures of an Art Historian. If you haven't watched part 1 of my art history journey video, you're going to want to go back and watch it. It's linked down below because you might be a little bit lost. So where we left off is I had just graduated from the University of Washington with an honors bachelor in art history, and it's June 2013. We are in the middle of the Great Recession and a lot of PhD programs had reduced funding, and there weren't a lot of master's programs. I was going into a job market that was less than ideal. It's not easy finding a job in a recession, and I was lost. I let my anxiety get the best of me. Now I've struggled with anxiety almost my entire life. My dad passed away when I was 14, and it was pretty traumatic. And so I've developed generalized anxiety disorder, and for the next several years, I let it get the best of me. I was too scared to go to grad school because I didn't feel like I was good enough. I knew I had the passion, I knew I had the drive, but I didn't think I was good enough to get into school, into a program that I felt that I could thrive in. I thought everybody was going to be smarter than me or better connected than me or what have you, but I didn't go to get my PhD like I had planned originally. My goal was to go to Columbia and study medieval art, but I let my anxiety get the best of me. I was young, I was only 21, and I didn't have the confidence that I do today, and I don't regret it though. I worked in a lot of different industries that taught me a lot of life skills. I've made some wonderful friends, and I truly believe that everything happens for a reason, and I think that the decisions I made in my 20s led me to where I am in my 30s, where I feel like I'm in a much better place to make these decisions about my future career path. So right out of college, I continued working at a local bookstore and cafe where I ended up managing it. Managing the cafe, that is. And I then went and became a professional makeup artist. I had an interest in it and there were jobs available, so I decided to give it a go. After deciding that that world was not for me, I moved into real estate administration. So I wasn't an agent selling houses, but I helped those people. And then I ended up working at a tech company. Then they recruited me. So that was about 7 years of my life of bouncing from industry to industry, trying to find my place. And I never lost my love of art history, but I wasn't pursuing it. Like, I read about it and I dream what if, but I never had the confidence to say, why can't I do it? What's stopping me? Well, it was me. So then 2020 came and I was working at a tech company. I was about to go back to the real estate office because they offered me a new position, and COVID hit. And I don't need to go into how COVID affected the world. We all know it was a hard, dark time for the vast majority of us. And that's when my mental health hit rock bottom. Because during COVID, we were quarantining and you're forced to sit with yourself for a long time. And I realized that I was not okay. I was miserable. I was frustrated with my life. I felt like I was going nowhere quick, and knew that I wanted more than that. Sorry if I get a little emotional. This is a tough topic. I want to share it because I think it's important to be open about our mental health, and maybe someone will hear this and it will help them understand their personal situation. But it is emotional to talk about. And so I went to my parents and I said, Mom, Dad, I'm not okay. I need help. I don't know what to do. And I have the most wonderful mom and adopted dad ever. And they took one look at how sad I was and how anxious I was and dropped everything and said, what can we do to help? I made an appointment with my primary care physician to get my medication adjusted. And I called a therapy office that was close to where I worked and asked if they had any people available that worked with anxiety disorders. And that was really hard because I've had therapy off and on in my life. I'm not ashamed of it. I think we should all be proud of being in therapy because it means you're working on solving your mental health problems and talking to people about it. But I never found someone I clicked with where I felt safe and secure and felt like we were actually getting to the root of my anxiety disorder. But I thought, what's the worst? I'll do one appointment. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Well, I've been with this therapist now for 4 years. She's amazing. She has helped me through so much. And kind of taking stock of my life, and I thought, what do I want to do? and I thought about being a teacher. My mom and sister are both teachers. They're amazing educators. And I thought to myself, I've always loved to talk about and tell others about my passion and explain to them what I know. And I thought I could be a teacher. I would love to be a teacher. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I've always done some form of education. When I was always done training for others. I hosted trainings all the time from different jobs. And I thought, I've already been a teacher. I just need to get the skills for the classroom, and I have the passion. So in 1 week, I went to my doctor to get my medication adjustment. I started therapy and I started grad school the first time. It was a big week. And it was also my birthday week. So I turned 29. It was a lot, but I guess I just committed and wanted to get it done. So I started grad school in an education program. I went through Grand Canyon University because I still needed to work full time in order to afford to go to grad school and live. And it was great. It was all online. I learned a ton about education and educational theory and practical classroom management, stuff like that. And I felt prepared. So at the end of the program, you have to do an unpaid internship, which, don't get me started on unpaid internships, of about 4.5 months at a school that aligned with the program. So I was doing 7th to 12th grade social studies, and I ended up getting placed back at my old high school where I went, and I worked with 2 different teachers, both of whom I knew in high school or had as teachers. So that was a little bit weird, or being their mentee or their colleague, and then you knew them when you were a teenager. It was kind of trippy. And it was a steep learning curve. I praise classroom teachers. It is a tough world out there. I taught sophomore world history, and I taught 12th grade current world issues. And I had a wonderful bunch of students, a great bunch of kiddos. And I will remember them for the rest of my life because they helped me on my career path. I hope they're all doing well. I still love and care about them. But at the end of that time, I didn't think I could do it. I had been seeing a lot of TikToks and social media about teachers and the state of education and the classrooms and just the way that COVID affected development for these young people. And looking back on my experience, I just had this gut feeling that I wouldn't be happy as a full-time teacher. And at first it was jarring. It was upsetting. I had spent thousands of dollars of my own money and time and worked for free for almost 5 months teaching these kids, and then to feel like I had failed, it was a lot. I continued through therapy at this time, thankfully, even though I had really lame insurance through the state because I was technically unemployed. My parents helped me out to maintain my therapist, and I had felt like such a failure. Like, I just felt like I didn't know if I could do it. Now, I still applied to have teaching jobs. I needed something. I hadn't worked in a paid position for quite some time, and so I applied to be a teacher in districts all over the area, like far north, west, like everywhere that I could find a position where my certificate, as I'm certified to teach history and social studies for middle and high school. Unfortunately, the teaching market, or fortunately in this case, the teaching market in Washington is very competitive. We pay our teachers extremely well here, which is awesome. We need to pay teachers even more than what my state does. And there are hundreds of applicants. It's like every tech job, but for every teaching job. And I couldn't get an interview. And that just added to my fear of failure. Like, you went through all of this, you have the credentials, you have the grades. I got a 4.0 in grad school. Like, how come nobody wants to hire me? But it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. So next up, I will tell you about how I ended up in the nonprofit world, but that's for the next video. So if you like this one, please hit subscribe or like. I look forward to seeing you, and we'll continue my art history journey.